Hello and welcome to Garrett's Stories and Such. Today we'll be reading over item number SCP-3066, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. A circular surveillance perimeter with a 500-meter radius is to be established around SCP-3066. Surveillance of this perimeter must be continuous, and Foundation personnel must be on standby to intercept any trespassing civilians. Class B amnestics may be applied to close proximity civilian witnesses of an Eckhart-Anatol discharge. Products of an Eckhart-Anatol discharge are to be destroyed as rapidly as possible. Flamethrowers and incendiary grenades are to be stocked in a separate structure adjacent to SCP-3066 for deployment during an incident. Management of the ensuing wildfires may be handled by Foundation operatives or local firefighters. SCP-3066-C are to be terminated or kept in solitary confinement. Testing on 3066-C is not to involve direct contact with more than 5 uninfected persons at a time. To prevent lapses of judgment and loss of productivity, entry into 3066 is strongly discouraged. Entry into 3066-A is strictly prohibited. Cover stories are to be fielded regarding unusual lights in the area surrounding Brown Mountain, North Carolina. These include vehicle lights, combustion of naturally occurring methane, ball lightning, and extraterrestrial activity. Description: SCP-3066 is a small log cabin in Linville Gorge, North Carolina. It is dilapidated and appears to have been abandoned in 1937. Much of the roof has collapsed. It is notably one of the only artificial structures in the valley. It is entirely isolated. SCP-3066 is surrounded by thick vegetation, heavily obscuring it even when viewed from a distance of 20 meters. When within SCP-3066, the perception of time is heavily warped. While timekeeping devices work as expected, personnel report a trance-like state of mind, with very few memories of their time inside SCP-3066. Metabolism is also much slower, allowing personnel to spend several days within 3066 with no ill effects. Underneath 3066 is an airtight cellar, originally used for storing wine. The cellar contains a writing desk that is stocked with hundreds of writing pages and journals. Nearby is a circular borehole with a diameter of 3.3 meters. This borehole has been designated 3066-A. 3066-A has no discernible bottom. Expeditions into 3066-A have managed a depth of 2 kilometers, and experimentation has not yet been conclusive. At 50 meters intervals along 3066-A, there are large archways leading into separate chambers. The existence of these chambers is known only through seismic analysis, as any cameras or observers entering the archways abruptly stop responding. No personnel or equipment lost in this way have been recovered. Furthermore, incursion into the archways appears to trigger an Eckhart-Anatol discharge. At somewhat irregular intervals, SCP-3066-A will produce an Eckhart-Anatol discharge. These events only occur during the local night. During an Eckhart-Anatol discharge, approximately 500 tons of matter are expelled into 3066 and the surrounding forest. This matter is usually propelled through the collapsed roof of 3066 into the upper troposphere. Once it exits 3066, the process does not usually cause damage to 3066. The products of an Eckhart-Anatol discharge are often very flammable and can often be neutralized using incendiary weapons. Due to the flight trajectory often taken by discharge material, the burning material will often fall on or near Brown Mountain, about 6 miles east of 3066. 75% of the discharge mass is composed of 5 by 10 inch sheets of parchment paper. These pages are collectively designated 3066-B. 3066-B are covered in writing or sketches and contain potent cognitohazards. The remaining mass varies between incidents, will usually consist of a delivery system for 3066-B. Exposure to 3066-B will invariably result in immediate cessation of all higher mental functions. Affected individuals, 3066-C, will use their own bodily fluids to write on nearby surfaces. These communications are often aimed at convincing observers to move towards 3066. Some instances of 3066C will also produce nonsensical poetry and prose. None of this writing created by 3066C is anomalous. When in the presence of non-affected individuals, 3066C will rapidly approach and begin to vocalize. Audio recordings of this process degrade into white noise between vocalization begins. Any human observers within earshot will become new instances of 3066C. As a result, the content of vocalization by 3066C is unknown. The effects of 3066B may constitute a metic agent, though further investigation is necessary to classify them. When present in large groups, 3066C will alter their behavior. Instances of 3066C will begin forming convoluted structures out of their own bodies, often extracting and utilizing internal organs as structure components. Note that 3066C are no more durable than non-anomalous human beings, though they do not have a pain response. The structures created by large collections of 3066C have the same effect as 3066B and can trigger the infection of much larger populations. Addendum 3066-1 Expedition Audio Log. The members of MCF Zeta-9 Mole Rats were sent to 3066 after the initial exploration of the anomaly. The purpose of the expedition was to explore 3066A. Beacon Log. Beta 1, check-in team. Beta 2, checking in. Beta 3, Beta 4, right after you, Juan. Okay, we're coming in. Stay close. Wow, I thought this place looked decrepit from the outside. It's dusty. It smells kind of ash. Nothing unusual so far. Mind closing that door? Okay, all team members are inside. It's a little crowded. You know, this place is pretty beautiful once you stop and take a look at it. It really is. Shit, I wouldn't mind living here. Whoever built the cabin had the right idea. I agree. At any rate, I think we've loitered long enough. Let's get down to the cellar. Man, we've got time. We could stay up here a bit longer. That would be great, but I don't want to get yelled at when we leave. Let's move. Oh, why would you put a desk in the cellar? Maybe you didn't have room upstairs. I wouldn't mind having the alcohol in hand. I think the huge hole in the floor is what we should focus on here. That's right. I'll get the repellent gear. Alright. Beta 3 and 4, get in formation. We're heading down. Understand. It's very dark. The walls are smooth stone and perfectly circular. It looks like it was excavated by a machine. Hell of a thing to have under your house. In the wine cellar, no less. My breath's fogging up. We're about 50 meters in by now. I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, I see something. Yeah, there's a doorway. Wow, that thing's pretty big. I'd say 3 meters tall and at least 2 meters wide. Also cleanly cut out of the stone. Should we go in? No, I think we keep going down and try to find the bottom. On the way back up, we can investigate further. I've got this feeling that this is going to take a while. No shit, I mean, they called us in, right? How are you guys doing down there? It's getting a little cold, but we haven't found any boogeymen yet. Tell me when you do. We will. 2 hours of relevant dialogue has been redacted for brevity. Note that the presence of multiple archways at regular intervals is discovered. How much rope have we gone through, Beta 2? 2,234 meters. I'm about to run out. What do you say we head back? Anyone feeling hungry? Now that you mentioned, I'm a little peckish. Let's go up. I think I'm going upstairs to think for a bit. Radio in if you need anything. Will do. Hey, we could use that echo to tell how much further down it goes. Go ahead. But you have to do the math. Echo. Reverberations are heard. Beta 2 makes an attempt at calculating depth. Analysis have concluded that the sound fades out before the presence of the bottom surface can be confirmed. 2 hours of irrelevant dialogue have been redacted for brevity. I think this is the last archway before we get out. Can you confirm, Beta 2? Oh, sure, you're at 50 meters. Ah, alright, it's now or never. I'll lead the way. I need to give my arms a rest anyway. Well, okay, I'm in the archway. The floor is solid. It's pitch black in there. Oh, frick, that's gonna hurt real bad tomorrow. That's fine. Let's go. My lamp doesn't seem to be doing anything. I guess we move forward. Affirmative. You guys go ahead. I'll work out a few kinks here. This is not normal. The walls aren't reflecting. Audio feed from Beta 1 and 4 suddenly turns to static. Guys, you still there? I think the mic's cut out. Any trouble down there? Oh, shit. They're gone. I can't see them at all. Beta 1, you there? Yeah, no response. There's a smell of shit. I'm getting out of here. Okay, hurry up. I'll keep the rope down for a few more minutes in case they're still there. A few grunts as Beta 3 returns to the surface with some urgency. Beta 2 and 3 remain in the cellar for some minutes as Beta 2 begins stowing the rope. Do you feel that? The rumble. Yeah, and a bit of a breeze, too. We should get going. Redacted or redacted might still be down there. No way in hell. Look, I'm close to finishing this. The rope is stowed in silence. Some wind is picked up, and as well as minor seismic vibrations. Beta 2 and 3 leave SCP-3066 and report back to Foundation Command. Addendum 3066-2 Log of Eckert Anisol Discharges. The following is a complete list of all Eckert Anisol discharges. Designation. Description. Incident 3066-1. Occurred the night following Expedition Beta 19. Foundation operatives in the area reported minor seismic activity, followed by a loud report from a direction SCP-3066. Soon afterward, a large plume of insects were sighted ascending over Linville Gorge heading east. To prevent public awareness of 3066, a small aircraft was fitted to administer insecticide to the plume. The chemical had little effect. During this initial flyby, it was discovered that the plume was composed entirely of large beetles. Each beetle was carrying a thick sheaf of paper. As the plume approached populated areas, it was deemed necessary to field a Foundation cargo lifter, equipped with incendiary weapons. The beetles proved to be more flammable than expected, and much of the plume was rapidly destroyed. Surviving elements of the discharge were collected for testing. Incident 3066-2 occurred on 19. Foundation personnel were beginning to set up a surveillance perimeter surrounding 3066 and reported minor seismic activity immediately prior to discharge. Incendiaries were rapidly flown in. It was found that no aerial elements existed, and that the discharge was largely contained in the area immediately surrounding 3066. Several thousand African gray parrots were roosting in the trees near 3066, and the forest floor was littered with 3066b. The birds repeated the phrase, "Hell for the company," but were otherwise not anomalous. The effects of 3066b were more formally established during this event. Cleanup operations extended over the next 3 months. Incident 3066-3 occurred on 19. On-site personnel responded after seismic activity was detected preceding the discharge. Much of the discharge material was destroyed immediately after it emerged from 3066, limiting the impact of the incident. Notably, the material was expelled at an incredibly high velocity, causing damage to 3066 and allowing a few grams of material to escape from Foundation efforts and enter the stratosphere. This matter was carried by the winds towards the city of Morganton, where a minor outbreak of 3066C was detected and successfully handled. Occurred on 19. On-site personnel, Incident 3066-4, sorry about that. Occurred on 19. On-site personnel responded after seismic activity was detected preceding the discharge. All discharge material was successfully neutralized after it emerged from 3066. Collateral damage to the forest in 3066 was limited due to the rapid response. The precise nature of the discharge was never identified. Occurred on... I keep forgetting this, sorry about that. Incident 3066-5 occurred on 20. On-site personnel were unable to respond in a timely fashion due to unrelated emergency in the area. Reports of a large white cloud over Linville Gorge were met with the deployment of an aircraft armed with incendiaries. Discharge material was found to be a group of ornithopters made of balsa wood and magpie feathers. The power source of the machines had not been identified. Each ornithopter was delivered a sample of 3066b and was heading east. Due to evasive action by the discharged material, extensive damage was caused in the forest of Linville Gorge before the threat could be neutralized. A joint effort between the Foundation and operatives and local firefighters was sufficient to extinguish the flames. A wildfire and noise was blamed upon a lightning storm. SCP-3076 was discovered in the forest during the early cleanup operations. Maybe we'll go over that next time. Incident 3066-6 occurred on 20. On-site personnel responded after minor seismic activity was detected. Response efforts were successful and neutralized the discharge quickly, though no samples were discovered. Personnel report the presence of origami butterflies, possibly made from 3066b. Incident 3066-7 occurred on 20. On-site personnel responded immediately. The discharged material consisted of several flame-resistant pods, each containing a sample of SCP-3066b. These pods appeared to be self-propelled and targeted Foundation personnel directly. Most of the response force was lost and became instances of 3066c. Aerial support was called in. The remaining discharge material as well as 3066 were successfully neutralized. The possibility that 3066 may be adapting to Foundation efforts is being considered. Addendum 3066-3, Recovered Journal. We might not do this one. And it seems like that's a little bit too much to read in one sitting, so everybody, thank you for watching. This is my first time trying to read an SCP, so if you enjoyed this, please leave a comment below telling me if you liked it or not. I can read the journal in the next video, but as I'm doing now, this is my first time reading, and in one sitting, it's not going to be the easiest for me. So thanks for reading and everything else. I hope you have a nice day.